Beto, not surprisingly, announces his run for 2020. Is Joe Biden next? Also, the Senate votes today on the resolution to rebuke the president's emergency declaration. And also, Michael Cohen was told he can sleep well because of his friends in high places.
Team Rising is here. We've got Andrew Feldman. He is a Democratic strategist. And Raheem Kassam is the newly minted global editor-in-chief for Human Events, a conservative political news outlet. Gentlemen, welcome to both of you. Good to see you here. Raheem, congrats on the new publication.
Cheers.
Andrew, congrats on being a great guy.
Hold on, what are the plans for Human Events?
We want to turn it into a conservative, tabloid, intellectual magazine.
Okay, you see what he did there?
I did see what he did there.
Tabloid and intellectual, it's a challenge.
He's from England. They can do whatever they want.
That's true.
We have that in our tabloid history in England. So yeah.
Cool. Well, we'll be watching close. Congrats.
Thank you.
First up, we have, we doing Beto first?
Yeah, let's get to it.
Beto. We got Beto O'Rourke, or Beto O'Rourke, I think, if we're going to pronounce it properly, but then again, it's not really his name.
What fun is that?
So what fun is that? So we've got some of that stuff going on here. Guys, we look at the lineup for here he is. There he is.
The man.
Oh, and I know.
The last, what is he, the last great hope of Earth, I think is what he said in his notes.
So many journalists think he's so dreamy. It is astonishing to see the way that he is covered versus how someone who lost their Senate race recently but now wants to be president would be covered. I think this is a pretty remarkable example of how the media filtration system actually works. Nonetheless, Andrew, let's start with you. Biden, Beto, do they cancel each other out in terms of voters? Is there an issue here? What's the path?
I don't look at it like that at all. You know, I saw that, that conversation, but they're completely different candidates. My question with Beto is he going to be able to take the energy that we saw all around the country against Ted Cruz and put that into a presidential campaign? What we know about the race where Ted Cruz is a major boogeyman in Democratic politics, in politics in general. He doesn't have that boogeyman in a primary against fellow Democrats. Is he going to be able to raise the $80+ million off the same list that he raised it in the Senate race? I don't know. And if he can't, he's not going to last very long. It's about how much money he can raise off the bat.
Raheem, from our perspective, I have to say, I think that
you guys are cheering for Beto.
We are rooting for. I think Beto against Trump would be fantastic, actually.
I've said it for months now. He's actually one of the candidates I fear most.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me.
Look at this.
Well, he has that aura. He has something that will delineate him on stage from Trump. He's not of the old politics, and I think he can attract new people to vote for him like Obama did. But he also has the most difficult path because he doesn't want to tack left and take all the progressive socialist people.
He doesn't really like to take positions.
No, that's right.
Anything.
So he's got the hardest thing here. And the question I thought is, well, Biden O'Rourke ticket, but then it's the Democrat Party, so they won't want to have that Irish white.
Two white guys.
You already had Obama. He was an Irish guy.
Obama and O'Rourke. I mean, I do. So it's also interesting to look at the polling since his Senate campaign ended. He had maybe 10% of the vote in key states right in December and early January, and it's just slid and slid and slid since then. So the other question, and I think one thing that's been interesting to watch as the primaries have developed, is who goes up after they announce and who kind of flatlines, who tails off. That's what I'm looking for with him.
We'll have to see if he missed his mark, right? He was up in the last CNN Des Moines Register poll. He was at, I think, 11% in Iowa. Now in this latest one, he's at 5%. The question is, he's doing a 3 or 4 day swing in Iowa right now, starting today. Is it going to spike back up? And also, I go back to those fundraising numbers. He's going to, I guarantee you, if they're good, within the next few days, announce a big haul. He spent a lot of money getting people to sign up for this announcement via Facebook and Twitter and everything else. How much does he raise? Because if he doesn't raise money, that is what was so fascinating about this Texas congressman from El Paso, the amount of money he was raising. If he can't keep that on par with what he did in the Senate race, people are going to dismiss him right away. But journalists, as go to your point from when you kicked off this segment, Buck, are fascinated by him. I have been talking to journalists every day about different stories we're trying to get placed, and so many of them have been on this Beto bandwagon and waiting, camping outside of his house of El Paso to wait and see what he does.
Raheem, to your point, and you mentioned Obama before as well, maybe Beto doesn't have to have a platform to speak of other than just, he's a Democrat, he's left of center, and he's cool.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have to have a particular signature issue that he'll run on personality.
I think it's a very different moment. That's just me.
I mean,
Look, things feel very tense in America right now. A cool guy who doesn't stand for anything might be what people want.
It's not what I want.
I think
I'm actually coming around to that point of view as we're sitting here. I think that Beto actually could be more. I was originally thinking a guy has no background. He lost at Ted Cruz, and Trump is just going to try to swat him around. But the truth is, when he swats Beto around, people might be like, why are you being mean to Beto?
Right,
he just skateboarded in here.
Yeah.
But here's my question, though. Can Democratic voters, because what is the number one concern of Democratic primary voters is we must beat Trump. That is the number one all-consuming concern, and everything else is frosting on the cake. Can we really imagine Beto winning Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin?
I don't think that primary voters are thinking that way. And that's my fear, right? There are now going to be 14 candidates or more in this race.
Yeah.
I think that people are forgetting that the number one objective is beating Trump. And that's because if they were thinking of that, I'm not sure there would be so many candidates, one. And two, I think Joe Biden can beat Donald Trump, right? But everyone hasn't stayed out of the race for Joe Biden to get in this race.
Yeah, but also people have different opinions of who would be electable. So
of course, but if you're thinking about Michigan and Wisconsin and Pennsylvania and those Midwestern states, someone like Joe Biden in a general is able to take those back. Is someone like Beto? I don't know. Is someone like Kamala? I don't know. But if you look at the history of Joe Biden, so I'm just saying that I don't think that right now in the heads of primary voters, they're thinking about who can beat Trump. I think they're thinking who is lining up with my values most distinctly.
Although, Biden is leading, so maybe they are considering.
Can he hold on to that? That's the Biden question.
That's the question. All right, so today in the Senate, they will be voting to rebuke Trump's national emergency declaration. Widely expected that enough Republicans will join the Democrats to get that through. I think the question is how many Republicans are going to buck the president on this? What's sort of the yardstick here? Like, does it matter if 10 Republicans come over? Does that matter? Or is it inconsequential because ultimately this is just going to be vetoed anyway?
Well, it does matter. I think it matters for the president's authority. I think it matters for his ability to steer his party, certainly going into the elections next year. And you want to be able to show, he will want to be able to show strength in taking his party into a general election. So it does matter how many pull away. I don't think it matters broadly that they do it, though. I think he will veto. And they'll just keep going on from there. So it's sort of a much ado about nothing, but it does have ramifications for next year.
What do you think, Andrew?
I think it's completely embarrassing, right? I mean, I already thought that this emergency vote was this emergency declaration was an embarrassment to the president. This is a double whammy here because now his own party is joining the Democrats to rebuke him, and he's going to have to use the first veto of his presidency.
You think this will embarrass President Trump?
I don't think.
Let's be serious here for a second.
I don't think President Trump. I think he gets embarrassed very easily. First of all, but I think he'll be very frustrated by this one again because it's all about the wall to him.
Does it in a way play into his hands, though, because he can say, look, I'm trying, and Congress is bucking.
He's fighting. It's Congress's fault. That's what he's going to run on 2020.
You don't think he wants to run against you guys on this next year? You're playing right into his hands with that. Give him the opportunity to go around the country screaming, build the wall again. Good luck to you.
Look, let me tell you, his voters are coming out no matter what. That 38% or 36%, they're automatically coming out. That's Republican voters turn out for their people. So I'm not even thinking about that. I'm thinking about how is our party going to start, flipping that onto the other side and getting our people out. We have to make sure when we're standing up to Trump on this wall, I think that helps get our people out.
So we've got some Michael Cohen news, some new reporting on emails exchanged between Mr. Cohen and his old lawyer, not his current lawyer. So Cohen's lawyer sent him a message saying, I spoke with Rudy Giuliani. Very, very positive. You are loved. If you want me to call you, I will give you the details. Rudy said the communication channel must be maintained. He called it crucial, et cetera, et cetera. Sleep well tonight. You have friends in high places. P.S. Some very positive comments about you from the White House. Rudy noted how that followed my chat with him last night. Raheem, this sure looks like Cohen's lawyers having conversations with the president's lawyer about a potential pardon or how they may approach the case.
Yeah, it looks like Cohen's lawyers had been reaching out, trying to secure that pardon. I think it just shows how unreliable this person was, and I think it means that we should be able to disregard almost anything he says as probably 99% likely a lie.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair point, right? Because Cohen said very clearly, I never asked for, nor would I accept a pardon.
No, what is unclear
doesn't
here...
look good for him, doesn't look good for Giuliani, doesn't look good for the president. It kind of looks bad for everybody involved.
It looks bad for everyone, but what is unclear here is who actually brought up the issue of the pardon. You know, each side saying different things, right? Cohen saying, well, they brought it up. The president's side is saying, no, we didn't. He brought it up.
And you can't trust any of these people.
and I feel Michael Cohen was lied to. He doesn't have friends in high places. He may have, but I wouldn't trust any one of them.
Well, most even half the sentence was a lie. He doesn't have friends. You know, this is Michael.
You mess with Raheem at your peril.
You got me feeling bad for Michael Cohen. That takes a lot.
Oh, wow.
It's interesting to note, though, that Elijah Cummings, the chairman of oversight, said that he was not going to make this pardon situation an issue in terms of did he re-perjure himself or something like that, and he said that yesterday. So I think we're going to end up moving. I think we're going to move on from this.
All right, interesting. We will stay tuned, gentlemen. Great to see you as always.
Thank
you as well.
Coming in.